Welcome back, guys. Do you know you could use Canva to design logos? But I want to use the help of generative AI. I'll be using ChatGPT, of course. I want to design different logos. So I would say, coming back here, use your search box to look for logo design. Just type logo design right here. So you could design logos with Canva as well. Just type logo design. And having to type logo design, you can design logos for your brand. And we have different templates you could use right here. The template does not really matter because you could create your own logo from the very beginning. So coming back to ChatGPT here, we could choose any of these templates. We could choose any of these templates. It does not really matter. So let me just choose any of these templates and replicate it. So I could choose any. Let me just choose this. I'm going to choose this and I'm going to customize this template. So having to customize this template, all I have to do is to come to ChatGPT. I want to create a pseudo logo for a, let's say, for a tech brand on Canva. Give me different logo ideas and I'll design it on Canva. So let me just prompt that and see what it brings. So creating a pseudo logo for a tech brand on Canva is a great way to experiment with design ideas before finalizing the actual logo. Here are some logo ideas along with steps to create them. Minimalist hologram logo. The idea is use the initials of the tech brand, BT for Billa Tech. So let's say we want to design something for Billa Tech to create a simple modern monogram. So this is the first idea Canva is giving to us, and it says we should add a text box and type the initials BT, choose a bold sans serif font. So let's do that. So the first thing we want to do is to replicate something like this. So let's type BD. So you can delete this. Let's delete that. Let's delete this. Let's delete this. So we have a blank Canva. Could have easily used the custom size. We could have easily used that to create something like this blank Canva. So let me use a white color. I'm going to change the background to a white color. So come to text. Here is the text, and I'm going to add a text box. So right here, I'm going to just type BT as ChatGPT has suggested. So here I have BT. So you could make it a capital letter. All you have to come is to click more, and you see this. You can change it to uppercase or lowercase. So I'll change it to uppercase, and here we have this, and this is what we have right here. This is the first thing it told us to do. So we have that, and we have choose a bold sans font like Montserrat or Oswald. So let's look for that font. So you could come here to check for fonts, and yes, I'm going to just check for Oswald. I think Oswald would make a whole lot of sense. So we could use, let's see what the spelling is. Oswald is L. So an L will be here. So we have Oswald here. This is the font. So I'm going to choose this font, and yes, I'll be able to choose that. So we have something like this. Yes, and we could come here. It says arrangements, adjust the spacing to overlap or stack the letters creatively. So yes, we have to adjust the spacing, as you could see. So all we have to do is to come here, and here we have spacing. You could see we have spacing, we have letter spacing. You could bring this in just for it to encroach this way, or you could see the line spacing, but we don't need a line spacing. So you could check the anchor text box. You could check out what it looks like, but right now letter spacing is very important to us. So you could take this somewhere this way, or you could bring it somewhere like this, and I'll just make it somewhere like this. Canva suggested we let it overlap, and here it says adjust the spacing to overlap or stack the letters creatively. So all we have to do, we could actually break this apart, or we could duplicate it. So all we have to do now, if we want to do that, we could easily create spacing from here, like I suggested earlier on. We could create spacing from here, or we could do something like breaking this apart. How do we do that? I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to duplicate the text, and we have something like this. I'm going to remove that, and I'm going to remove this. So we have here is B, and I'll have T here. So let me just remove this and have T here. So we have the text apart. This is a singular element, and this is another singular element. So I can just overlap it if I want to something like this. We could have something like this, and let's see, you could make this bigger. So I could decide to make this bigger and have something like this. So we could just bring this somewhere this way. So we could bring this a little bit downward. Good. Yes. So we have something like this, and this is looking like an insignia already. So we have this for a Billa Tech Academy logo. So I can just make something like this. I can just make it make more sense and have something like this. So we have something like this so far, and let's have this. So we have something like this so far. So we could easily use this as a monogram. So let's see what we have here. It says add a minimal text related icon like a circuit, computer chip, or abstract line behind or next to the initials. Keep the background simple or transparent. So we could have something like this, and we could group it together to create a logo from here. So we have something like this, and what we have here is not looking bad so far. It looks like a logo actually. You could change the colors. You could change the color to like a blue if you want to, and it's not looking like everything changed. So we're going to ensure it all changes. So we have something like this, and you could change the whole color green. You could change to yellow. Color you want to change to, you could easily change it. And here we have this e-signal. So we could just make something out of this, and that's our first idea. And you could bring in a text box as well and name it Billard Academy. So the spacing, remember the spacing right here. We could just make this something like this, 260, and I'm going to give it Billard Tech Academy. And here we have that. You could change the text as well. The text is still Oswald, so I can just make it border and bring it somewhere this way and make it a red color. And we're going to have something like this, and this will be able to create our first logo with Canva. You could make this smaller, maybe it's too big. You could make it smaller and have this go this way. So we have something like this, Billard Tech Academy, as our first logo from the ideas given to us from Canva. So you could check geometric shape logo, create a logo using geometric shapes like triangles, circles, or hexagons, symbolizing innovation and technology. So we are going to do this as well. Let's check this idea as well. So I'm going to go back to my Canva page. All you have to do is to export this. You could export it as download, and you could export it as PNG, or you could export it as JPEG. But as a logo, you have to export it as PNG, so you could easily use it and tweak it. So I'm just going to download that. I'm going to export it as PNG. We have that. I do not remember to rename this. I should have renamed it right here. So coming back to my Canva homepage, I'm going to go back to my home page to create a new logo with this second idea. So let's see the ideas Canva gave to us. It gave us 5 ideas, and this is just the first. Then we're going to create the second idea. The second idea says geometric shape logo, and all I have to do is to start a custom design, and we'll be able to create that. It says we should go to our elements, arrange the shapes into a pattern or an abstract symbol, add the brand name below or beside the shapes using a clean modern font. Choose a tech inspired color palette like blues, grays, or greens. Experiment with layering and transparency to add depth. Then we have icon driven logo. So you could use all these tips to create logos. And let's do the second. Let's see what the second would look like. So right now I'm just going to create a custom size, and I can just give it like an 800 pixel. That will be a square format, and I'll create a new design. So having to create a new design, I have a blank template, and this blank template is what I'm going to use to create my new logo. So right here, the second idea says we should go to elements and add geometric shapes. So all I have to do is come to my elements right here, and I would say geometric shapes. Then we have something like this, and you would see we have a whole lot of that. So you could check shapes. Let's check for shapes, and here we have different shapes as you could see. And the most important part of designing a logo is your shapes. You could tweak shapes to whatever you want to. So let's look for an idea to replicate. Let's look for something to use. Let's look for a shape we could easily tweak for our design. So let's bring this in. Let's say we'll bring this in, and I'll give this a very deep color this way. I'm going to give it this type of color. Then I can just Control D to duplicate this. Then we have something like this. You could have something looking this way. So this could represent a B. Let's say we want to create a Billard Tech Academy again. This could represent a B. So we could make this like a B, or we could just leave it this way. So I'll group this together. So we have this, and this is a very simple logo. So we have something like this. I'll just name it Billard Tech Academy. Then I'll come to text. I'll just add text box. I'll add text box. I'll just add Billard Tech, and I'm just going to come to this to make it uppercase only. Then I'm going to burden that. So we have Billard. Let's just make it this way, and let's duplicate. Control D to duplicate, and I'll name this Academy. So we have something like this. So right now what I want to do is to make this bigger. So let's make this a bigger text and give it a font. So I will be using Montserrat this time around. Montserrat. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to bring it here, and I'm going to look for that font. I'm going to look for the font. Here it is, and I'll control A to control V this. So I have this. So here is the font. I'm going to give it that font, and I'm going to have this way. Let's see what we have here. So we have something like this, and I'm going to give it a color blue, and this could be 36. So to have a round figure, so I have this Montserrat Billard, and this academy would come right here. So how do I make this academy bigger? So let's say we have 36 as well. Let's see what we have here. So we have 36 for this, and yeah, so all we have to do, we could use this spacing to create a better letter spacing. So we could have something like this. So we could just bring it this way just to have it stretched across. So I could just have something like this. So we have this, and we have Billa Tech Academy, and here we have this. You could just make this like a blue color as well. So we have something like this, and here is a logo for us as well. So we could use this as the logo. We could just group all. We could group it all to have something like this, and here we have our logo. So we could just bring this in. We could export it as PNG. So I'll be mocking up this particular logo. So I'm just going to have this exported. So let's share this. Let's have this exported. I'll get to click on download in PNG, and you choose a transparent background. Then I'm going to have that downloaded. So we have to have that downloaded, and we'll see what we just did. So coming back here, this is what we just did right now, and we have this because I gave it a transparent properties, and we're having this right now. So we're having a logo right here. We could use on any background. So we could easily recreate, we could easily bring that in to give different colors, different variation of that logo. So I could add a new page and bring that in, what I just downloaded, the transparent one. I'm just going to drop it in this way. I'm going to drop it in, and we have it right here. So I can drop it on any background. I can choose to change this background to an orange, and I'll drop this on this background, and we have something like this. So that's how to create a logo here on Canva. You could do more work on this. You could replicate this. You could come to the icon driven logo, then you create a logo centered around a tech related icon, and you see power button or network symbol. Then you search for tech related icon in the element tabs. Then you adjust the icon size, color, and position. Then you do something like this. You come to abstract text symbol logo. Use abstract lines, waves, or patterns to create dynamic futuristic logo. You search for abstract elements in the element tab. So combine and layer these elements. So what this is actually saying is, you say search for abstract tech elements. So you could just say like a laptop. That's what that is suggesting. You could just come to your elements and say a laptop. So this is a laptop abstract. So I can just say a laptop abstract. So let's see what we have here. So you could see, you use the one in graphics, then you could see what you could easily use for a logo right here. You could decide to use something like this, and it comes this way. So you could change the color from here. You could change it to like a blue, and you have it right here. So you could easily replicate this as a logo. You could decide to just leave it that way or add more elements. That's what that is just suggesting. I'm just showing you how you could carry out different ideas on Canva. So you could just replicate something like this. This says design a logo that resembles a badge or emblem, giving a sense of authority and reliability. So you could use a circular or sheet shape from the element tab. Place a tech related icon or monogram in the center of the badge. Add the brand name around the edge of the badge or within a banner. Add small decorative elements like stars, lines. So you could easily use all these tips to design a logo. I hope to see you in the next lesson where I get to mock up this particular logo. I hope to see you in the next lesson. See you there.